this is rounded here. This is going to try and move material faster than this one. Okay. Because you're pressing down and you're telling it, I want it to move in all directions. When you're working in smithing, though, you have peens. This is a cross peen. Now, many times you'll have a cross peen hammer that has a straight peen. That one doesn't. The reason for it is, if I'm working a piece of material, so I'm holding the material with the tongs in this hand, but I want to stretch that material this way, not this way. I have to put myself out of position. Okay, I do this. As I strike, it's telling it I want it to widen. All right. But with that one, I can be in a more natural position, and I can work. And now it's stretching out. All right. On the left. So, in working here, you're not going to have as much trouble. You can still use the hammer. Just be aware as you're doing it. I don't have any left-handed because I'm writing yet. But you can still work very easily with that. We should have. This one's a little heavier. This is a straight. Okay. But when you're working this way, you can put yourself in position. Now, what I'm going to do. This is an old blacksmith trick. We're in Arizona. Everything is dry. By the time you're ready to hit, that will have swelled up. These got thrown in this morning, and they were just as loose, and they're tight now. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the anvil itself. So we'll put these back up here. No worries. We'll put these back up here for the moment. So you have three primary striking faces. You have the horn, and the horn is good for making curves. It helps you, that's why it has different radii, so you can make different curves and turn things as you need to. This is the hardened face. This is where the greatest amount of your work is done. Because it's a hardened face, if you look here, you can see, you just see a line here where this top section was forge welded to this cast steel. Okay, I do see that. So this is hardened so that you get a better response as you're striking. Because that rebound helps you. Even when you're striking material, that rebound helps you. So this is where you do most of your striking. The step is a soft area. It tends to be kind of a sacrificial area. That's why you see all of these. If I'm trying to punch a hole, I may punch it here if I don't have a sacrificial piece that I can fit in the hardy hole. We'll talk about the hardy hole in a moment. The step also gives me a great way, if I'm holding material and I need to make a step, I can strike here when it's hot, and it will give me that mark and help me to make that step. Or if I have a piece of material that I've already made a step, and the intent is to work only this piece of the material, this gives me kind of a stopping point, and I can continue to work the material that I have above the step. The corners are normally radiused a little bit. We try not to keep sharp edges. You can see this anvil's old enough, it's got a lot of chipping and cracking. I'll have to come back through and re-weld this face again, and then radius it again. Most of your striking is done with material on the flats because you're trying to move as much material as possible. But when you're working with, just grab the thread. When you've got the material in the tongs, you have limitless ability to change what you're doing. So if perhaps I was taking this and I wanted to tap this down and I wanted to narrow it down, it's actually very easy for me to strike it this way. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting both corners at the same time. The thing to be careful about is when you're doing this, you don't want to be doing this because you miss. Drive that back, you can drive this out of your way. And wasted it. The other thing is, if I wanted to make a 90-degree turn, then what I can do is I can strike on it here, then I can see where I'm making my turn. You can keep working that turn, then you draw it over and you can bring it back. So the techniques that you're going to learn today are called drawing, So this piece right now is, I can't remember if this is 3/8. I think it's 3/8 1/4 inch. Anyways, what you're going to be looking to do is, because we know the length of this material, but you're going to make a hook. So part of that process is to reduce the thickness and extend the material at the same time. So that's drawing it out. Drawing it out. I'm telling the material, I want to move material from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, and so on. I want to lengthen this piece out. In doing so, this is first going to try and stretch in its width. So whenever you're drawing out, as you're working this way, I try to do it, if I'm not looking to make it wider and longer, I always try to hammer this way, so I bring it back. And what I'll do is I'll show you this right here. This is kind of a progression. This is some of the stuff I was working on this morning. So these pieces were all about that long. So as I was drawing them out, I was drawing them out for thickness and length. These still need to get drawn out. They'll probably get drawn out another 2 or 3 inches. So that's the whole purpose behind it, is we're drawing it out. And in this case, you can make it as wide as you'd like. To get more length, you want to keep it the same width or make it narrower. So as you're driving it, you're going to feel it. I can tell you what it feels like. Bill can attest to it, though. As much as I tell you, the moment you hit it cold and then hit it hot, you're will immediately know.
Yeah.
I can feel the metal move.
It's a cool sensation, actually.
Yeah, this is not something that can be learned in a book entirely. You can't learn this through a video entirely.
Most of it.
It can give you the mechanics.
Yeah.
But then you have to learn the feel. So the hardy hole is the hole for all the tooling. So as you see here, I've got all kinds of tooling up here on this workbench. What the tooling is for different kinds of specific activities. These are called turning forks. The idea is that when you're making a hook, you have it drawn out to where you want it, you can place the material in here, cock it, and now I'm turning it around, and I just made a hook. Do it. So each of these are bending forks. As you can see, they have different sizes on them. They have different widths for different materials to make different radius. These are called hot cuts. So if I'm cutting material that I just pulled out of the forge, I can drop that in there, set this where I want, and strike. And I can make a cut. I can cut through this material, and then I'll lay it here, turn it over on itself, and drop it off the end. Okay. So I can use this to cut material to size.
So now, what's the difference between the groove that makes and the groove that you would make, like here?
I'm not doing a cut with either of these. With this, I'm cutting material. I want to make this shorter. This is just to make a 90.
Notch.
I'm just trying to make a 90-degree turn if I'm working on the edge.
It'll make a lot more sense once you start.
And that one actually pushes
that one actually
the metal
cuts
out
the
of the way.
Exactly.
And cuts right on through. Okay.
Because at first you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And then about halfway through, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this.
This is called a pritchel. Basically, it's just a small hook that I can use for different kinds of work. This is a piece that I use when I'm making roses, because I can use it to do certain bits and pieces to make some of these radii.